Hey guys, I'm MJ Sanchez. I'm a pastor's wife down in West Palm Beach, Florida. I was asked to share with you guys during this very difficult time about how to deal with uncertain times. I know that right now things are very different than what you've always known. And I know that right now people are very uncomfortable and just very unsure with everything that's going on. But let me assure you that we have a God that knows exactly what is going on. We have a God that knows exactly where you're at right now. And we have a God that knows exactly how you feel right now. When I was asked to share, it was a little heartbreaking because I know that it was because I've been through something very, very traumatic. I was born with cystic fibrosis. And at 33 years old, my lungs, they failed me. I was put on oxygen and I was in a wheelchair. I was also placed on the lung transplant list in Jacksonville, hoping that I'd live long enough to get a life-saving double lung transplant. It was during that time that things got really difficult for my husband and I. Things got so bad that one night I had to ask him to give me rescue breaths. While I laid in my bed dying, I did nothing but cry out to God. I cried out to him and I asked him to hold me. If there's anything that suffering has done for me, it has solidified that even in uncertain times, we serve a God that is very certain of the times. On February 22nd, we got the call. We packed everything we had and we drove 4.5 hours to get these lungs. I showed up right on time, and as they began to do blood work, they saw that I was I had an active infection. It was so bad that even though we had already called everybody and people were flying in from all parts of the country, they told me that there was a chance that this wasn't going to happen. It was then that we realized that we had traveled and waited and prayed for and longed for this certain moment, and it became very uncertain. It was at that moment that when the doctor walked in and told me how bad the infection was and how certain this operation had now become, that I did the only thing I could muster up and do. I told him we had to do it. I told him that I'd sign whatever I had to sign, but that we had to do this. I knew, and he knew, that my time was about to end if it wasn't for this transplant. It's in those moments, I always like to think of them as these kind of like crosses on the road where we say we're either going to be paralyzed by pain, by fear, by uncertainty, or we're going to be propelled by pain, by fear, and by uncertainty. I've always been a fighter, and nothing changed at that moment. I fought the little bit of courage that I had. I fought with it, and I pushed forward. That night, as everybody began arriving, the doctors decided it was in my best interest to do the surgery, and I went in and I said goodbye to everybody, and there was a 7-hour, 7-minute surgery where I jokingly say that my soul held its breath. That surgery, it saved my life. And even though I came out of it and I've had a lot of little bumps in the road, I'm thriving because I decided that I wasn't going to be paralyzed by that moment. I was going to be propelled by that moment. And let me tell you something. You may be young. You may not have everything together. None of us do. But you have it in you. You have that power to move towards eternity. If you know Jesus, then you know what we all know, and that is that he died for us, and that he didn't die as a circumstantial offer. He did it as a once and for all offer. For everything you will ever do, everything you have ever done, it's covered. It's over. We serve a God that is extremely dependable, even in these uncertain times. We serve a God that's extremely easy to find, as deep as he may be. And what are some ways that you can access him? Well, by reading his word, by praying, by listening to music, by having mentors and significant adults and having those significant relationships with them. They can help you. They can push you forward. And sometimes they see things you don't see, and they will help you along the way. All I can tell you is that he will give you the grace you need to get through those moments. We do the best we can. And that also is the antidote for anxiety in my life. When I know something's coming And I know that I need to prepare for something. Procrastinating is the worst thing that I could do. We had prepared for that moment, my husband and I, by selling our farm, by selling our animals, by selling so many things that we had dreamed of that we had finally had, just so that I can have a shot at living. And that was totally worth it. I look back now, and there was a couple of scriptures that sustained me. One of them was Psalm 119:50, and it says this: "This is what comforts me in my suffering, that your promise, it preserves my life." And I love to tell people that my life wasn't just my life physically, it's my life eternally. Even if I would have died, I'd still be a champion. I'd be at the gates of heaven. We are all running towards heaven or from heaven. Nobody is neutral. Nobody is neutral. So friends, I urge you not only to get to know Jesus better, but to hang on to him when things get rough. It doesn't matter how many friends you have, how many scholarships you can get, how fast you can run, how hard you can pitch. It doesn't matter how many likes you have on Instagram or even TikTok. What matters is your relationship with Christ. He's the only one that's going to show up when no one else can be there. He's the only one that's going to get you through these rough moments, and he's the one who died for you and for me. I jokingly say that, some of us might not have two people die for them. Not only did Jesus die for me eternally, but my donor died for me physically. And I really cherish that. I cherish these opportunities I have, and just like you, I'm still running towards heaven. My journey here isn't done, but my purpose is left to be fulfilled, which is why I'm still here. So as I run towards heaven, I urge you all to run with me. The cloud of witnesses are also encouraging us and cheering us on. And during these uncertain times, there's one certain thing you can rely on, and that is Jesus. Cry out to him, call out to him, and get to know him, because he will guide you every step of the way. I'm sure your pastors love you, we all love you, and we're cheering for you.